Uses of resources. One area, in which there is a high risk of market failure, is in the use of non-renewable resources and the environment. Private sector firms may be more concerned with making a quick profit than sustainability. Also, there may be information failure regarding the effects of exploiting resources and the external costs and benefits generated by their use. Private sector firms may be more concerned with making a quick profit than sustainability. Also, there may be information failure regarding the effects of exploiting resources and the external costs and benefits generated by their use. This unit touches on the conflict between the conservation and exploitation of resources. It also examines the nature of social, external and private costs and benefits. Conflicts in the use of resources. Non-renewable resources include coal, gold, iron ore, and oil. Other resources, including fish stocks, may be turned from renewable to non-renewable, if they are over-harvested. The quality of resources can also be adversely affected by overuse. For example, the beauty of a beach may be reduced, if too many tourists visit it. Exploiting resources, however, can raise employment, income and improve the trade position of the country and living standards of its people. For example, if Venezuela extracts large amounts of oil in the next 5 years, the country will probably experience a rise in employment. Selling it abroad will raise export revenue and Venezuelan citizens will enjoy a higher living standard. The government will receive more tax revenue, which will enable it to spend more on education and creating a climate conducive for the growth of other industries. However, if a non-renewable resource is being exploited, it is important that some of the revenue earned is used to ensure that other industries can develop, as future sources of income. The faster Venezuela exploits its oil reserves, the sooner these supplies will be exhausted. It may be no better to conserve most of the reserves. This approach would allow future generations to continue to benefit from the resources. It may also mean the country becomes a more balanced economy, encourages the development of other industries and does not become too dependent on one export. The choice, whether to exploit or conserve reserves, is influenced by a number of factors. These include the current living standards of the country's need for income, products where the country's comparative advantage lies, current world demand and future world demand. If a country is very poor, it may have to use resources to raise its people out of poverty. The country may also be in debt to other countries and may need to obtain export revenue in order to service its debt. It may also exploit its resources. If current world demand is high, it may have to use resources to raise its people out of poverty. The country may also be in debt to other countries, and may need to obtain export revenue in order to service its debt. However, there are uncertainties about future world demand. If it is found that currently the country does not have a comparative advantage in the product, the country may wait until cost conditions change. In the meanwhile, it may import the product. An efficient use of resources is more likely to occur, if social costs and benefits are taken into account while deciding on the use of resources. Private costs and benefits. The rainforests, in the Amazon region of Brazil, are being cleared at a relatively rapid rate. The firms that are engaged in logging, in the forests, are only taking into account private costs and benefits. Private costs, as noted in the previous unit, are the costs borne by those who are directly involved in the decision to consume or produce a product. In the case of a logging company, private costs will include, for example, the cost of transporting the wood, and the cost of labor. Private benefits are the benefits received by those directly involved in the consumption and production of a product. The private benefit logging companies receive from selling the wood is the revenue they earn. The company will continue cutting down trees, as long as the revenue received by it exceeds its costs. External costs and benefits. When firms produce products and households consume them, they often affect other people. For example, a clothing firm that dumps waste into a river may damage the fishing stocks of a fish farmer and harm the environment. And someone smoking in a factory may harm the health of other workers. The effects on third parties, due to the consumption and production activities of others, are known as external costs and external benefits. External costs caused by the logging companies may include damage to wildlife habitats, loss of plant species that could be used to develop medicines, global warming and interference with the lifestyle of local tribes. External benefits may include reduced transport costs for tourist firms in the area due to construction of roads by logging companies. Social costs are the total costs of an economic activity to society. For example, the social cost of cutting down trees in the Amazon will consist of both external and private costs. When social costs exceeds private costs, there are external costs involved. Social benefits. It is the total benefit to the society. That is, private benefit plus external benefit. Social benefits, for example, education, health, public transportation, etc., are the total benefits to the society, arising from an economic activity. They include both private and external benefits. Where social benefits are greater than private benefits, external benefits exist. The level of output which will cause maximum benefit to the society, socially optimum output, will occur when the social benefit of the last unit produced is equal to the social cost of that unit. If the social cost exceeds the social benefit, it implies that too many resources are being devoted to the production of the product. Society would benefit from reducing its output. In contrast, if the benefit society would gain from producing more of the product is greater than the cost to society of producing more output, then more resources should be devoted to its production. A case where the social cost, in most countries, exceeds the social benefit, is the use of road space by private cars. When people are thinking of making a trip in their car, they take into account the private costs and benefits. That is the cost and benefits to themselves. If the benefits received by them by undertaking the journey exceed the costs, for example the cost of petrol and wear and tear on the vehicles, they will make the journey. What they do not consider is the external costs caused by them, including air pollution, noise pollution, congestion, and accidents. A number of governments, including Singapore and the UK, have introduced road pricing schemes. These seek to charge the full costs of their journeys. Different amounts are charged according to when and where people drive. Someone driving along a deserted country road is likely to cause lower external costs than someone driving into a city centre at peak time.